This is Lawrence Manzer. He likes to go by Laurie. He lives in the town of Burton, New Brunswick. In the early hours of the morning on March 28, 2010, Lawrence Manzer was woken up by the telephone. It was his neighbor calling to tell him there had been some prowlers in Brian Fox's backyard, their neighbor. He was thinking about his own safety and the safety of Brian Fox, he said, when he took his unloaded shotgun onto his front steps to investigate what was going on. He never left his own property, and he never pointed his unloaded shotgun at anyone. Brian Fox physically apprehended one of the young offenders while Laurie watched the other two run towards Brian. As Laurie stepped out of his front door, he asked his wife to call 911, which she did. The three trespassing drunken teenagers were given a $175 ticket for drinking in public. They'd been stealing from and vandalizing the houses in the area for over 6 months. Laurie and his neighbor thought that was the end of it. That is, until a week later, Good Friday of all days, when an RCMP constable came and arrested Lawrence Manzer at 8 o'clock in the morning. He was charged with pointing a firearm. They also arrested Brian Fox that same day and charged him with assault. For over 6 months, the RCMP couldn't be bothered to show up to the neighborhood when all the break-ins and vandalism was going on. But they've got time to criminally charge the men who put a stop to it with assault and pointing a firearm? In late October, his original charge was dropped, and Lawrence Manzer was recharged, this time with possessing a weapon dangerous to the public peace. Brian Fox's assault charge was dropped completely, and he's never been charged with anything else. Lawrence Manzer said in an interview, "For 45 years, I've been a good model citizen. I've never had a need for a lawyer until now. It seems the evidence of 3 kids who were out drinking carries more merit than my neighbor's word and mine." The Moncton Times and Transcript newspaper wrote an editorial on Manzer's case. It's a really good one, too. Here's part of what they said. The case of Burton, New Brunswick resident Lawrence Manzer, a retired military veteran who helped a neighbor catch 3 suspects last March, highlights a serious flaw in our Canadian justice system and the way police often operate. Victims of crime ought not to end up being treated as the criminals and receive harsher punishment than the real offenders. It's a trend that's growing across Canada, and it's not a good one. Police are taking the word of the criminal over the word of the honest citizen, the actual victim of crime. Why? Who knows? I doubt that it's because it's easier, since they have the actual criminal in custody already. So why are they taking the word of the offenders over the word of the victim? I don't know. Lawrence Manzer doesn't know either. What he does know is this. Since that night in March, in the neighborhood that had been plagued with vandalism and break-ins for the past 6 months, there hasn't been a single new incident. Imagine that. The Crown is charging Lawrence Manzer as a summary offense, not as an indictable offense. Why is this important? Because it means that Lawrence Manzer will be tried by a judge alone, not by a jury. It's smart. If I was the Crown, that's what I'd do. I mean, really, there's absolutely no chance that a New Brunswick jury will convict him. Not if the public support he's getting is anything to go by. Choosing to let a judge decide this case alone is really the only chance the Crown has of getting a conviction in a case that should never be going to trial in the first place. If this case disgusts you as much as it does me, please make a donation to Lawrence Manzer's Legal Defense Fund. You can send donations for him to his lawyer at this address: